Ever hear a doctor describe how Jesus was crucified? Warning, this can get a bit graphic. Jesus has already experienced hematohydrosis, a condition where he sweats blood due to stress and anxiety. He has walked around 2.5 kilometers on foot, hasn't slept, and has been battered. We now reach the section when he is scourged. The offender would be stripped naked and chained to a short to receive the scourge's lashing in a classic Roman scourging. The whip used for this would have pieces of bone and pieces of metal in the whip to cause bruising and tearing of the skin. The skin of his back would literally be hanging off on the ribbons. This is why Isaiah says, "By his stripes we are healed." A great number of people that would undergo this punishment would not survive the scourge. After the crown of thorns is pressed upon his head, a robe is placed upon his back and then ripped off. Jesus is almost for certain in shock due to blood loss. He is laid down upon the cross, and his hands and feet are nailed to it. The Greek word for hand also encompasses the wrist, which is most likely where the nails went through, as the hands themselves wouldn't have been able to sustain his weight without ripping through the nails. Crucifixion is where we get our English word excruciating from, because of the great pain that was caused. The nails in Jesus's wrists would have severed the medial nerve, causing great pain going down his arms, and the nail in his feet would have severed the dorsal peel artery, causing great blood loss and pain shooting up his legs. As the cross is raised, Jesus's full weight bears down on those nails. His shoulders would have become dislocated, and his arms would have been stretched to a length of 6 inches longer than they normally would be. Normally, to breathe, the diaphragm needs to move down so that air can fill into the lungs. As Jesus hangs on the cross, the weight of his body is pushing that diaphragm down so that air comes into his lungs but cannot go out. He cannot exhale unless he pushes himself up on the nail that is in his feet. This makes breathing excruciating. And the most common reason for death during crucifixion would be asphyxia, from an inability to breathe out. In light of this, it is all the more incredible that Jesus spoke 7 times while hanging on the cross, including once while pushing himself up. To be able to say, "Father, forgive them, they know not what they do." The decreased oxygen due to the difficulty in exhaling causes damage to the tissues, and the capillaries begin leaking watery fluid from the blood into the tissues. This results in a buildup of fluid around the heart and the lungs. The collapsing lungs, failing heart, dehydration, and inability to get sufficient oxygen to the tissues essentially suffocates the victim. The decreased oxygen also damages the heart itself, which causes myocardial infarction, resulting in cardiac arrest. Jesus most likely died from a heart attack along the cross. In order so that the bodies would not remain upon the cross during the Passover, the soldiers were instructed to break the legs of those that were crucified. This would give them the complete inability to breathe, causing their death to come quicker. When they come to Jesus, they found that he was already dead. They pierced his side with a spear, and the Bible says out came blood and water. The fluid built up due to the lack of oxygen from his crucifixion. This is how much he loves us. And upon all this, he bore the weight of our sin, suffering the wrath of God so that we could be forgiven. He went through all of it for us. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.